They are getting ready for the big move. How do I know? The censorship. The censorship proves they're getting ready for the biggest thing we have ever seen in our life. I know you've been keeping up with TikTok bills, and let me tell you, one way or another, it will get passed. TikTok will be gone. And guess what? It's not just TikTok. And remember, when the Restrict bill came out, God told me some things. I told you what those were, and I told you there's going to be no voice to tell y'all what's evil and what's not. We are all going to be silenced. And that's becoming more and more true. In Canada, on Facebook, you are no longer allowed to talk about the news or post the news. In Canada, Facebook is not allowed to have the news on it. I'm not sure what month it starts, but it's already been passed. You remember when TikTok needed to update, you had to sign something to keep going? It was telling you you were not allowed to talk about developing news, only way after the fact, because they don't want us talking about what's about to happen, because it's the mass deception. And if you think this Facebook news policy is going to stop with Canada, no, it's already in China, it's already going to Australia, and it's going to be in the USA. We are not going to be able to talk about any of that stuff. So when this gray invasion that's been planned for a very, very, very long time, since the 50s, when this happens, we're not going to be able to communicate about it. Only literal thing we will see is what they want us to see. That's very dangerous. And no news will be allowed to be on social media. It literally goes back to what God told me months ago in this video. And if you still don't know how corrupt the news is, just look up Operation Mockingbird. For decades, they have been in control of CNN, Fox, MSNBC, every literal news platform there is. They're in charge of it, and they use it on purpose. Our CIA uses it on purpose to sway your opinion. So in my country, the USA, they will silence any voice speaking against what they say, and they will do it good. Do you remember 2020? How fast they took down misinformation? Imagine now with ChatGPT and all these different AI algorithms, we'll go down that quick. And that right there is when they will attack. We will have the Great Invasion, and the Great Invasion's already in third world countries, but we will have it here as well. And that point, which is going to scare the crap out of all the world, they're going to use that fear to unite everybody into Revelation 13, when the whole world worships the one beast that had the mortal wound that was healed, and the whole world wandered after the beast, and the whole world persecuted all the Christians. And around the same exact time, they're going to use Bluebeam to project God in the sky, possibly even a fake second coming of Jesus. Like, you have no idea how massive of a deception this is going to be. It's going to be massive, and it's going to be a deception. And yes, you will be here. We'll get to that later. Now, this brings me to my affirmation on Starlink. So, tell me how we saw Starlink lines before Starlink was a thing. Tell me how we've seen Starlink in places where there was no Starlink announced. Because it's not Starlink. It's a cover-up for the fallen angels and the angels on the move. They're not actual satellites. They're not actual things of our government. It's literal fallen angels and angels on the move. God said, look to the skies. That's why they're trying to cover up everything going on in the sky. And I received that affirmation through way too many things to even name, but I know for a fact that Starlink is literally a deception to cover up the movement of the angels. Everything we think we know right now is complete deception. The only way to know the truth is to read the Bible. Not a preacher, not men's traditions, not the news, not the government, the Bible only. This pre-trib rapture is literally one of the biggest deceptions made by Satan, the lowercase g god of this world, to create the great falling away. The Bible clearly tells us that we will be here and that most of us are going to die in Revelation 13, Revelation 6, seal 5. Revelation 6, seal 5 is Matthew 24. Revelation 6, seal 6 is also in Matthew 24 in the Great Tribulations. Revelation 13, a 3.5 year period when all the Christians are tortured for being Christians. And like I said, this will be started from the Great Invasion, which makes the one world order, which obeys the God they see in the clouds, and he's probably going to demand the building of the third temple as well. The Bible repeats itself over and over again. At a trump, in a twinkling of an eye, God will raise the dead incorruptible. At the last trump, the dead in Christ will rise first. Matthew 24. And at the sound of a trump, God will send his angels to the four winds of the earth. After the great tribulations, read the whole chapter and collect his Christians. The dead will rise first, and the 144,000 and those they led to salvation will be picked up at the last and seventh trumpet. The trumpets begin at the seventh seal. And don't forget, a quarter of the population, 2 billion people, must die before or around the same time of Revelation 13 when Christians are persecuted. How do we know that? Revelation 6, seal 4. It says they are slayed by weaponry, by famine, and the beast of the earth. Abominations are also called beast. What are these grays really going to do? This gray alien race has been created by the fallen angels and man, and stuffed with demons. They're abominations. That is what the grays are. Remember, a demon is a spirit. You cannot poke a demon, but you can poke a gray. Don't get me wrong, there will be fallen angels that shapeshift into grays to deceive people, but for the most part, they're abominations made by our government and made by the fallen angels, filled with demons to deceive, attack, and cause terror among the people. Trust nobody and remember the power structure of this world. The elite answer to the fallen angels. They answer to the lowercase g god, Lucifer. It's always been that way. America was born of Freemasonry, Scotch Rite Freemasonry. It's all evil. Look at the dollar bill. They've been Satanists since the very beginning. This is exactly why the Scarlet Beast gave power to the crown to use the land of the serpent, America, to make the new Babylon. This has been written about in many, many, many books. For starters, look up Secret Destiny of America. I could go on and on. Just know the censorship shows that it is coming. We're coming to a spot where no one will talk except for the news. We'll have the invasion. We'll have the blue beam. We'll have the 3.5-year period. The Christians are literally martyred. Seal 5, Revelation 6, the war on the saints. They ask God to avenge their blood, and God tells them, I'll avenge your blood when your fellow brethren and servants have been slain the way that you were. That's Revelation 13 and second half of Daniel 11. We're there. Please share the word. This is coming way sooner than people think. I pray that you and your household are ready.